basketball. We love that basketball. They're playing basketball. We love that basketball.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our next edition of Top Shelf Ankle Breakers podcast. It is Wednesday, February 15th, and let's reintroduce the panel tonight. So, to my right, I will not mistake this again this time, we have Adam Carr. How you doing, Adam?
The defending champion, Adam Carr, thank you. The ankle breaker master. Boom,
Defending
boom.
champion, and to his right is the guy who seems to be everywhere all the time, Mateo Avila.
How's it going? Like, I got my ankle insurance. I'm coming from my revenge today. How's it going, everybody?
And a new addition to Top Shelf Ankle Breakers. We'll see how long we can keep him around. Ross Beach. How you doing, Ross?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
So, guys, hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day. Mateo had a date to the Bulls game last night.
I did. Fun experience.
Did you go with a girl?
I did.
Okay, that's cool.
Girl.
I can show the pictures, but, that's...
And the Bulls actually gave us a pretty decent Valentine's Day last night, defeating the Raptors like they always seem to do. And that'll be their 11th straight time that they've done that. Doug McDermott had 20 points, and they put a good performance on for the Chicago fans. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the Bulls' trade rumors. Should they get rid of anybody? Who's on the hot seat for the Bulls, on the hottest seat? And then we'll talk a little about the NBA trade deadline a little later. So, first up, guys, the Bulls last night. They won their 11th straight game against the Raptors. They don't seem to have an answer for us. Do you guys think it's kind of a coincidence? Do you think the Bulls actually are a fear to the Raptors? What do you think, Adam?
There's this weird thing in all sports where it's sometimes just guys perform better against this certain kind of jersey. Happens in baseball, you crush the Dodgers. In football, you seem to always beat the Packers or something. I don't know if it has anything to do with the personnel as much as it's just a psychological thing now. I mean, the Raptors come in saying like, all right, well, we have this streak, and they just start playing inside their own heads, or it might just be coincidental. It's really hard to tell with something like that. But yeah, I mean, a win's a win. I don't care who it's against. I'll always take it.
For me, man, I think it's just a matchup issue. I mean, the Bulls, as Tom just proceeds to tear paper, I think it's just a matchup thing. The last couple seasons, I believe the Raptors haven't beat us since 2013, and I mean, look at the Raptors. Their engine is Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, and the Bulls just match up well with those two guys. Kyle Lowry isn't the biggest point guard, and the Bulls have had just bigger point guards on them the last couple years. Derrick Rose, Kirk Hinrich, Michael Carter-Williams last night, Rondo, just bigger point guards that gave Kyle Lowry a hard time. Jimmy Butler always does a good job on DeMar DeRozan. He finished 5 of 19 shooting last night for only 18 points and was ejected. To shows how Jimmy Butler frustrates him. I just think it's a matchup thing. When you can shut down the two best players on the team the way the Bulls have the last couple of years, it's hard to get a W.
Yeah, I would agree. With Mateo. I think that the Bulls just have bigger. They have the right defenders to stop the Raptors. When you have the size of a Michael Carter Williams or Rondo and Derrick Rose, when you had them going up against a smaller guard like Kyle Lowry, it's kind of he has a problem with that length. And then when you have one of the best, even though he's had a questionable season this year, and Jimmy Butler, he's still a top defender. And even though DeMar DeRozan's been playing great this season, I think he had an injury. I think he injured his knee. But even still, that defensive presence Jimmy Butler had, I think that's what that shuts down the Raptors. And they really don't have anyone else to really step up in that case. It's kind of like, a miniature version of what the Cavaliers have right now with Love being out with, It just did on a smaller scale with Kyrie and LeBron. It's kind of like it's only Lowry and DeRozan out there sometimes.
So is this a realistic, do you guys think this is a realistic, maybe victory for the Bulls in a 7 seed, 2 seed playoff series? Is this honestly a team that we could beat in the playoffs? I mean, I would think that. I mean, 11 straight, that says something.
I think the playoffs might be a different ball game, but I do think the Bulls can pull out a victory in that playoff series, believe it or not. I think that when you have the playoffs and you have just that magnitude and the bright lights are on, I think that the Bulls will find a way to like bring it together. I know they're having a tough time right now, but I think that these growing pains are kind of like something you gotta deal with like during like the beginning / middle part of the season. So towards the end of the season, you can just try to hopefully gel together. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I know the Bulls got some problems, some real life problems, but hopefully they can gel together in the playoffs and keep this winning streak alive.
At what point, though, does it stop being growing pains and start becoming they're in the middle of the season? Yeah, I mean, going to the Raptors, if the Bulls have done anything good under Gar Forman, John Paxson, they've drafted length, they've signed length. They've always been good, long teams. Looking back at Luol Deng, Tyrese Thomas, now Taj, Carter Williams. Chandler. Yeah, they've always been good at getting these lanky players. That being said, I mean, like I said earlier, you're talking about growing pains. Is it growing pains, or is this team isn't very good?
I mean, that's funny, and it's true. The Bulls aren't very good, but I don't think it's just Toronto. You look in the Eastern Conference, aside from Cleveland, who's the powerhouse, obviously, in the Eastern Conference, Boston, Washington, Atlanta, Toronto, Indiana, Chicago, and Detroit fill out the rest of the playoff seeding. And I feel like the Bulls can.
How is Milwaukee not there?
They're in trouble now. Yeah, they're
right,
in a lot of trouble.
They're right behind Detroit, but I feel like the Bulls can contend with any of those teams in a 7-game series, including the Celtics. Like the Bulls have beat the Celtics this year. We've had a success.
No.
I mean,
Too athletic.
We've played well against the
Bulls
Wizards
killer
before
team.
too.
You know, the Wizards are like.
But even in 2003, Gilbert Arenas was beating the Bulls in series.
But
back and forth.
my point is, I feel like every one of these teams, aside from Cleveland, who has LeBron, Kyrie, right now Kevin Love's injured, but when he's healthy, obviously, they have 3 All-Stars. Every other team besides that doesn't have more than 1 All-Star. Okay, besides Toronto, who has 2, but we're their kryptonite apparently. But then Indiana has Paul George and a bunch of other guys. Atlanta, Paul Millsap and a bunch of other guys. Washington, their backcourt and a bunch of other guys. Boston's Isaiah Thomas and a bunch of other guys. The Bulls are the same way. Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and a bunch of other guys. So
Are we still saying Dwayne Wade's name like that?
I mean, when he's averaging 19 points a game, why not?
Yeah, he's second best player on the team. I mean, you got to think of it like this. Like,
he's still isn't he like 33 or 34?
I mean, but he's still producing.
35, even worse. He's 35. He's old as dirt, man.
Ross going straight to Ross mode.
He's still producing, though, on the court. You can't say he's not producing on the court.
And then he get him in a playoff mode.
Who else on the Bulls is going to produce at
Zipser.
35?
Paul Zipser.
That's precisely my point, though. It's the same for every other team in the East aside from Cleveland. Who's going to produce aside from the main guy or 2 main guys for Toronto or Washington's case?
So you can't be hating on Dwayne Wade. I mean, he's he's 35, but are our 23-year-olds producing? No. Are our 26-year-olds producing? No.
Our D-League is producing, though.
Who's that? Who's in the D-League?
Bobby Portis is in the D-League doing good.
No, he's with the team. He's with the team.
When did he get called back up?
Yeah, he's with the team.
Denzel Valentine was down there for a minute. I know Bobby Portis was down there for a minute.
They all fit that category. That
they all fit the category of length.
They go down to the D League on a Bulls off day to fill in for the Windy City Bulls and then come back up game day.
Get their 35 points and then come back and ride the bench.
That's exactly what it is.
League MVP, G League MVPs.
G League.
Oh, let's not get Ross started on the G League.
I hate the G League.
Just think of it like this, though. Like, honestly, I'd rather play Toronto in a playoff series first round than Indiana or Washington. I mean, I'll take them any
Boston.
day. Well, yeah, Boston will kill us too, but like Indiana, Washington, those teams will beat us. We know it. And Toronto, I mean, I want to play them in the first round, don't you guys?
That's the best case scenario for the Bulls. And then it's gonna be called an upset if we win. But truth be told, 11 straight victories. I don't know. Do we play them again?
No, I think we played them 4 times already.
Oh, okay, so we 11 straight victories going into a playoff series. Hopefully we can pull that out. I know the playoff series is another. I know playoffs is another ball game, but hopefully the Bulls could pull that playoff series out. I mean, it's definitely the best matchup. I don't see the Bulls beating anyone else in the playoffs outside of the Toronto Raptors.
I mean, we talked about this last time as well. I mean, to me, a true victory as a Bulls fan would be missing the playoffs. I'd rather not see them go to the playoffs, possibly win a round, and get bounced in the first or second. Because they're in that basketball hell. And not to rehash an old conversation, but I think it would benefit the Bulls more to not make the playoffs, even though the draft class isn't that strong. They have no future right now. They have a very short window in the present. That's about it.
So they're kind of stuck in, the worst area you can be in sports, and that's kind of right in the middle. It doesn't matter if they're 8th and they get bounced in the first round, or if they're 9th or 10th. They're still kind of in basketball hell, is what I like to say. So I guess we'll have to see how they finish out and see kind of how it goes.
Hey, hold on. I just want to say something. When I say that Dwayne Wade is 35 and he's old, I'm saying that I'm comparing him, number one, to himself. And number two, I'm comparing him to the fact that 19 points per game is, that's good. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, someone else should be doing, Dwayne Wade at this point in his career shouldn't be the number 2 leading scorer on the team.
I'm all right with it.
I'm saying someone else should step up is my point.
No
Not saying
my-
that he isn't doing his job.
No one's scoring 19.
100% agreed,
That's
but
the point.
my point for that was Jimmy and Dwayne Wade can win the Bulls a playoff series against any of those teams
Except Cleveland.
aside from Cleveland,
Yeah.
and that because every other team's in the same situation with is a 1 or 2 guys and a bunch of average players. That's where the Bulls are at too.
Are Jimmy and Dwayne Wade, do you guys think, doing a good job at all of bringing new players along? Because it seems to be like,
No.
They are.
No.
Rondo's doing a better job of that.
Yeah, see, Rondo.
At least Rondo stands up for them guys,
to
man.
be that veteran leader presence and then bury the rest of your team. I mean, I understand that was kind of a motivational tactic, but I haven't seen, LeBron is amazing at making other players better.
Dwayne Wade is better than that. He had better veteran leadership growing up, and he should be a better veteran leader than what he's giving these kids right now.
Well, we'll have to see how the season plays out. I'm going to do my best Molly roll tonight of trying to keep the agenda going. So when Top Shelf Ankle Breakers comes back, we will talk about the trade deadline, if the Bulls should make any moves, and what's gone on so far around the association. And let's not forget, before the show is over, we will pick who broke the most ankles tonight. Our newcomer, Adam Carr, won last week, broke the most ankles. We'll see if he repeats or if someone else does it. So we will discuss that when Top Shelf Ankle Breakers returns. Welcome back to Top Shelf Ankle Breakers. And right now we're going to talk a little NBA trade deadline with our Bulls and the association around the Bulls. So let's start off by talking about the Bulls and the moves that they should or possibly will make at the deadline. So the question I have for the panel right now is, who in your mind, which player in your mind is the most likely to be dealt and why? Mateo?
I don't see the Bulls making any major moves. I don't think Jimmy's gonna get traded. I think Taj might be expendable. I think the most the Bulls are gonna do is trade one of these so-called young core players that aren't working out. Maybe Nico, Dougie. Supposedly they're really reluctant to send Denzel Valentine for Jahlil Okafor, so it doesn't look like Denzel will be moved. I think it could be a combination of Doug McDermott and Nico, or you send maybe Taj, Nico, and a draft pick in return for another draft pick or something that they think may work. I feel like the goal here should try and be what they've said in the offseason, get younger and more athletic. I personally am all for getting Jahlil Okafor. The man's 21 years old. He has a bright future. He's a big man that can score. I feel like he could change this offense in a lot of ways, but they don't want to see him to send somebody that they don't use. So I don't understand what the Bulls are doing, but I don't see a big move coming for the Bulls. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen with the trade deadline. A week away.
A lot of people want to see Nico moved, but who wants Nico, and what are you going to get for Nico?
Nothing.
That's the one thing. I was like, trade him, for what? Another G League player?
A Big Mac.
Yeah, I kind of get the hesitation to not send Denzel for Okafor, especially since Okafor's got some pretty bad holes defensively. But if you're not going to trade Denzel Valentine, I have a fun idea. How about playing Denzel Valentine? Put him on the court, give him 25, 30 minutes a game. One of the issues that the Bulls have had
Hold on. 30 minutes a game for Denzel Valentine?
Why the hell?
Why not?
Why not?
I 100% agree with that. I've been a big fan of Denzel Valentine back when he was in Michigan State. I think the kid can produce. So I don't understand why not play him.
And the Bulls at this point should know they're not a championship team.
So at this point, are you just suggesting player development?
Play what you have. Playing what you have in the deal. It's G League isn't going to do it.
We have to stop calling it stupid league the G League.
That's what it's called, though. It's
what it is.
The name change
I'm
happened.
calling it the Gatorade.
It's the developmental league now.
the thing though. Trying not to lose is not the forte for Gar Pass. I mean, we're obviously not. They don't want to tear it all up. They want to try to retool and win. So at this point, if you're already sitting in the 7th seed with a potential first round match with the Raptors, like they're not going to tear it up. So why wouldn't you just try to win? I mean,
Because
Give
that's
it Denzel.
because that's still stupidity. It's like you're doing exactly what the NBA does as a whole in general, and that's not caring about the product that's on the court, but just concerned about saying, "Oh, we went to the second round potentially, so we made it to the playoffs, so that's good." Like no, like the Bulls need to make some serious moves. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Jimmy Butler. Because truth be told, he's the only true movable piece that can give you something true and movable, or like true in return. Like you got Taj can probably be moved, but he won't either. Just like Jimmy won't be moved, even though it's probably a smarter decision to make if you want to if you want to blow up the team and become somewhat of just revamping the team. The Bulls don't seem to want to revamp the team. They seem to be okay with just making it in the first round and doing and potentially make it to the second round and getting bounced out. Like that's a problem with me. But.
If you say they should move Jimmy, who should they move? What should you be looking for in return for Jimmy Butler? He's a 3-time All-Star now.
I mean,
What's out there? That's the question. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing in the league right now.
But that's
And
the
that's
thing.
the
What,
problem with the league.
but
There's
that's the
nothing
thing.
there.
Because I feel like a lot of Bulls fans are like, "Oh, trade Jimmy Butler," and it's like we don't know for what exactly. What are we getting in return for Jimmy Butler?
A chance at a future, though, because as much as I like Jimmy, and people are talking about let's get younger, more athletic, get a future star. They have a superstar on their hands now in Jimmy Butler, but with the Jimmy Butler experience and the Jimmy Butler experiment, they're not winning with. Blame him or blame whatever. With Jimmy Butler on the team, they're not making the leaps forward that they need to.
Well,
I feel like at that point, if you're not going to win with him, let's try to win without him in the future.
Well, Boston has a number 1 pick on their hands potentially, and that would be nice to have. I like Lonzo Ball. I think that he would be great on the Bulls.
Fits the younger
He
athletic
fits the
mold.
team.
Okay,
Granted,
but-
him and Denzel Valentine might be similar positions and similar styles of play, but if we move Denzel Valentine and get Jahlil Okafor, that would be something that's smart. Granted, the Bulls won't do it, but then again, the Bulls don't seem to do anything that's smart.
Okay, so we're looking for a high
Like
draft
the
pick.
Knicks.
We're looking for a high draft pick for Jimmy. But okay, so say we send him to Boston. What ideally is good in return from Boston?
Crowder and a pick.
Crowder in the pick, since they want to get rid of Crowder.
Just
anyway.
Crowder in the
Boston?
pick for a 3-time All-Star?
Yeah,
and a guy
because-
that averages 25 points a game?
Because what more would Boston want to give up?
I say I'm Boston, the team that probably has more assets than anybody else. You're trading Jimmy Butler. If I'm trading Jimmy Butler, I'm looking for 2 first-round picks for Jimmy Butler. Well, what is a
And
serviceable
a player?
Wait,
or just a
do you
pick?
want to? Right, I'm saying,
along
do you
with-
want a
along
player?
with
at this
Okay,
point?
you gotta look at the money does not work for just Jay Crowder, a draft pick,
I say along
for
with maybe a young player,
a max
like,
contract player.
I'll take a draft pick and like a second, 1 or 2 draft picks and Jay Crowder for the Bulls. That's for Jimmy Butler.
That's a horrible deal.
That's a horrible deal.
We are
but
talking
literally,
about.
That's exactly what the Bulls are talking about right now, and that's why they can't win.
We are talking
That's why
about.
the product is out there now.
So what is that? How much better are the Bulls gonna get by
That's
getting
the
They're
2
not
point.
draft
getting
They're not.
better.
They're
They're
getting
not.
worse to get better.
Right.
The Chicago
okay.
Cubsing their way to the future.
Yeah.
2016 champs.
That's. I feel like that's ridiculous.
No,
That is
I mean,
horrible.
No one saw the vision when Philly tanked either. Like, granted, no one wants to tank that bad as Philly did, but no one saw the vision when they tanked either. What do they have now? They got Joel Embiid and they got Ben Simmons. Okay.
Okay,
And they got
Ben
a fir-
Simmons
and
that
they got
hasn't
a-
played. Ben Simmons who hasn't played a single freaking game yet in the
Bro,
NBA.
don't
You
play
can't
Ben-
hold that. You
don't
can't hold
play-
that.
yeah, don't play Ben
You don't
Simmons
draft
like
a
that,
guy
bro.
knowing he's going to get hurt.
Okay,
Yeah, like, don't play Ben Simmons
okay,
like
okay,
that either.
okay, but
like Ben Simmons is cold.
okay, but let's not hype Ben Simmons up either. We don't know what he can do in the NBA. What if it's a total bust? We don't know that.
pretty
So
good.
let's not hype
But you
Ben
gotta-
Simmons.
Mark this down for
Let-
when Ben Simmons comes
I'm
out
not
and
saying
like-
okay. Look, I'm not saying he's
Average
going to be a
triple-double,
bust,
so.
but I'm saying we can't hype Ben Simmons up the same way I was saying we can't hype Joel Embiid up. We don't know who he's gonna be when he comes back.
Well, by that logic, you couldn't hype LeBron James up.
Joel Embiid, man, I would give a ton for Joel.
We don't have a bleep button here, but
Pardon my French, a ton for Joel Embiid. I mean, Joel Embiid is proven.
But they're not
okay,
giving him up.
he has.
No, they're
not giving him up,
He's
but I'm
proven that now. But prior to
But
this
this is why-
season, did you think Joel Embiid could do this?
I did personally. I saw him
Okay,
play.
so-
No way.
I saw him play at
Coming
Kansas,
off a
bro.
two- coming off a
I
two
saw him
knee-
play- I didn't
okay.
think he
Coming
would
off a-
average like 20 points, but I definitely saw him being a big factor.
Thank
in,
God Ross is on this
and
podcast.
I thought
Coming
he
off
was
of
a big
2
factor.
knee injuries,
You know,
you
you-
saw Joel Embiid doing what he's
you
doing now.
You sound like
D
what-
Rose averages like 20 points in every place. Anyone with that's worth opponent. That's a worthy opponent. He averages like 20 points a game.
You sound like one of those fools that say they would take Russell Westbrook over Rose in the draft.
No,
I'm just saying,
No,
I'm just-
no. You don't know me.
I
hate
think
Russell
okay.
Westbrook.
Can we side back to Ben Simmons? I'm not saying Ben Simmons is gonna be a bust. I think Ben Simmons is gonna be a very good player. He was a hell of a player at LSU. I'm just saying let's not hype him up to what Philly's been doing when he hasn't even been any active portion in that.
That's not my point. My point was that if we bring it back to the original discussion, which was about the Bulls, my point is that Philly is now winning. They're now entertaining.
Barely.
Barely.
But
Like,
they're
Barely.
making progress
They're
for
making-
the first
right.
time in like 5 years.
winning,
Exactly.
they're 15 under.
Who cares? They're still
Exactly.
playing.
They are 15
Dude,
under.
like 3 years ago, they
Okay.
won 15 games.
Right, exactly. You gotta,
Okay,
you
that's
gotta be,
fine. But
this is
back
why
to
the Bulls aren't tanking right now because of this dumb logic. You're not letting you're not developing your players at all. You're just saying, okay, we got some
So-
people that could put up something. Let's
so-
get bounced down in the first round, and that's good.
So you say
That is horrible
let's
logic.
trade a superstar in Jimmy Butler for a poor man's Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder and 2 draft picks that
No, you
might be
you trade Jimmy
something.
Butler, a guy who's probably not going to stay at the end of his contract, for a chance at a future. There's no chance right now with Butler. So do you want to continue to mingle in basketball hell, or do you want to at least give yourself a shot at drafting a good player, at giving
the best
yourself
part
future?
about this
You
is
never
it's so
know.
balanced.
You never know when you're gonna find the next Joel Embiid. You never know when you're gonna find the next Russell Westbrook, the next.
and
Chris
you never
Paul.
know when you're gonna find the next Darko Milicic.
No,
what if
but
they
you
get?
have to take
They get
that
the
chance.
That
first
is
pick.
such a
You
pessimistic
have to take
view.
that chance.
I understand as a pessimistic view, but the Bulls. Really, since Michael Jordan, how many superstars has this Bulls team
The
had?
Bulls?
1 in Derrick Rose and now 2 in Jimmy Butler. You don't just Derrick Rose didn't pan out because of injuries. So you have one that's healthy. He's young. He's in the prime of his career. Either you build. I feel like you build around that.
The Bulls would have just
Unless
as
you're
much
getting
of
an all-star in return for Jimmy Butler, you don't make that trade.
the Bulls would have just as
Who's
much of a shot.
trading an all-star for Jimmy Butler?
Ross, Mateo, the Bulls would have just as much of a chance to win the title as the NBA stands now if they had Jimmy Butler or if they had Darko Milicic. That's the point. They don't have a shot. They don't have a shot to win the title as it stands. So why not build for a chance to win? You have to take those kinds of risks.
Here's a quick question for the panel because we got to get moving on. If we did make a trade with the Boston Celtics, and let's do a little hypothetical here. Maybe Jimmy Butler and one of our garbage young players like Denzel for Jay
Let's
Crowder.
not- okay.
Is
Hold
he
on,
garbage?
hold on.
Let's
because
not
he
throw
doesn't
that.
play?
We can throw Nico into the garbage category. Let's not throw that zone.
Let host talk.
I'll say if it's Nico, I would love it, but
Yeah,
they
really.
probably won't trade Nico because
No
they're high on
one
him and
wants
he's not
anyone
good.
on the Bulls, if we're being honest.
But if we go Butler and I would love this Butler and Nico, and Boston gives up Crowder, a first rounder, and a second rounder. I mean, it seems fair on paper, but like think about it though.
It does not seem
Does
fair on
Jay
paper.
Crowder want to be a part of a team without Butler? I mean, if we trade Butler, Wade's asking for release, right? Wade.
He
wants
said
out.
that. He said that
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's the reason he's in Chicago. So
And-
yes,
and
if
good-
Jimmy Butler's
Yeah,
traded,
but
Dwayne
they're-
Wade is gone too.
There's a rift in the locker room,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like, it's literally them two versus the rest of the locker room. So, like, yeah, y'all scored the most points, but y'all not letting the players develop because y'all are out here, like, bad-mouthing the rest of the team.
And they're not winning.
Right. You're not winning with or without them. So at which point do you say, okay, well, let's try to plan for the future since we're not doing anything now?
But if those two players are gone, Wade and Butler, why would Jay Crowder want to be a part of this?
Who
You know what I
cares?
mean?
Doesn't getting traded.
Doesn't matter. I mean,
He doesn't have to say so in
He has
that.
no
He ain't
trade.
mellow. He ain't got no trade clause. Who cares?
I don't know, man.
You expect a young player to be a professional. Especially
Drake
a player
Crowder, I
like
don't know.
Okay,
but if he wants a shot to be a star,
He cried when they cheered for Gordon Hayward. Like, come on now. Like, we know he ain't necessarily the mentally toughest dude in the room.
and it's not like Boston's not Chicago. Let's be real here.
Yeah, they're mean and we're mean too. So
Yeah,
he's
we're
not
meaner.
happy. Right, yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Boston is a pretty demanding city. Their championship pedigree is amazing.
They just don't have the national media center that Chicago has, especially and then the Celtics. They have the history. They're not the Bulls though. Jordan took the Bulls to a level above any other team besides the Lakers in the NBA.
You have to stop
And-
acting like that. That Jordan was like the end all be all.
But what he
Bulls
did,
were trash
but what
before
he
Jordan.
did was he raised the popularity of the Bulls to an international level that still resonates to this day. And going into a team like the Bulls, you have to realize it's going to be part of the pressure.
All right, so
All right,
we'll
Molly.
see what our lovely management and Gar Pax does before
Can we
the
trade
NBA
them? Can we
Yeah,
trade
yeah,
them?
right, let's trade them.
they need to go too.
Before the
Trade
NBA
down
trade
the G
deadline on
League.
February 23rd. All right, let's go around the league now and continue our discussion at the NBA trade deadline. Last week, the league made an announcement that the Portland Trailblazers have traded big man from Duke, Mason Plumlee,
I
for
like him.
one of our players that we gave up for Doug McDermott in the draft, Yusuf Nurkic.
Oh,
so, guys,
what
for
a
the panel,
loss.
who won that trade? Who won that trade?
Trevor team
That-
dumbly. Shit.
That trade, I mean,
Or does it not matter?
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't do anything for either team. It doesn't really matter.
Plumlee's a fine player. He's
He's
going to be a fourth option. Get
They're
you
both
10
serviceable
rebounds,
players.
yeah.
You
I did-
traded a big man for a big man that do basically the same thing. It's not a big deal.
Did they get like some cap room or something for that out of Portland? Like
There
why
were
would
picks involved. but-
picks involved? Like I'm confused why Portland would do that. Like granted, Plumlee isn't like what I'm saying Embiid or nothing like that, but you know what I'm
Not
saying
even
he's
like
still
Aldridge.
yeah but he still was like somewhat what I'm saying he was a like he played. Like it's not like
He was a starter for him. He was a
right,
starting
like he was
center.
doing good. Like it wasn't like he was doing bad. Like I don't see why they would do that unless it was like some financial business
Do
part
they
of it.
still have Myers Leonard playing, or is he kind of out of the picture?
No,
He's-
he's-
I believe he's their starter now.
Yeah,
that's-
Until they
see-
start
yeah.
Nurkic.
yeah, exactly.
That trade's irrelevant. It doesn't make a big deal.
I
Who
think-
cares?
I think,
The two.
But it's one of those ones you read and you're like, okay.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
just
the
like-
reaction you have. You're
yeah.
like,
Lately,
It's two-
everyone that's been traded is like that though.
It's two poor teams that made a deal.
Hey,
that-
Denver's in the playoffs.
Hey man,
think,
so is well not boy.
Well,
So are the
yeah.
Bulls.
sort of
So-
bull.
yeah,
Yeah,
West,
yeah,
West,
yeah.
West and the East, different animals.
I don't know, it seems like Yusuf Nurkic is a really good player, and he'll get a pretty good chance in Portland. I mean, Mason Plumlee will kind of get, he's going to be stuck behind Niko Jokic in Denver, but
and the Greek freak. I mean, not the Greek freak. What's his name?
The
Kenneth Fareed.
Manimal?
Yeah, the
Kenneth
Manimal.
Fareed, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Kenneth Fareed.
Man,
good chance for Nurkic, I think, to prove himself. But on the other side of the country, in a way, the Raptors made a deal a couple days ago acquiring big man Serge Ibaka
Did Ibaka play yesterday?
he did not know.
Okay.
for Terrence Ross in a late first-round pick. So, guys, does Serge Ibaka make Toronto more of a threat to Cleveland in the Eastern Conference?
He gives him a different dynamic. He's a guy that can slow it down, and the guy who can bang down low a little bit. Toronto's been such an athletic team for a very long time. It just gives a slightly different scoring dynamic for him.
I agree with that, but unfortunately, Serge Ibaka isn't that kind of player anymore, and he hasn't been since the last couple years. OKC, he turned into a jump shooter this year. In Orlando, he's been a jump shooter. I don't feel like that's going to change.
But it's still, I mean, that mid-range jump shot opens it up a little bit as opposed to the slash that
I think Serge Ibaka needs to go back to the way he was early on in OKC before he developed that jump shot.
I
He was
don't
a rim
disagree.
protector and a big man that
I don't
could bang
disagree.
the
I think
paint.
he's a better player in that mold.
I think that I think Serge Ibaka and Tristan Thompson, that matchup in the paint will be a hell of a thing to watch. I think that Serge needs to post up more, but for some reason, I guess posting up is a lost art in the NBA unless you're Mark Gasol or somebody like
The
that.
3-second rule, the 5-second back down rule really changed posting up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that changed.
Yeah.
A lot of things in the NBA, which is why it's a horrible product now. But that's neither here nor there.
Here, it's the NBA podcast.
Yeah, but I think that Toronto, once Ibaka gets, comfortable, I think him and Valanciunas, that's kind of like, what's the kid that they had last year in the playoffs? Or
Bismack
maybe-
Biyombo?
Yeah, Biyombo. I think
Yeah,
he'll
if
be a
Ibaka
better
could play the way
version.
Biyombo did last year, just an upgraded version,
Yeah, I think
he'd be
a
great.
better
He'll
version
fit
of
in.
that. Hopefully, that's the best case scenario for the Raptors. However, I still don't know if they're the second best team in the East, even with Serge. But
To me, the end case scenario with them is their bench is horrible, and you traded the best player off their bench.
Terrence Ross.
He was the best player on.
Corey Joseph, man.
Terrence-
Corey
Joseph's
Joseph.
really good,
Okay,
bro.
I agree. Corey Joseph is good, but Terrence Ross was someone that was capable of exploring.
Terrence
99.
Ross, his entire career was potential.
he
When
was
are we
a
gonna?
Harlem Globetrotters. Let's not forget that.
He's the guy who was always about, all right, if Ross can do this, the Raptors have a shot. But Ross was never consistently able.
He wasn't
man, don't do
consistently
this.
able, but
Call him
he
Terrence, all right?
he did it. He did it enough. That bench is horrible. I mean, I saw it in person yesterday. Besides, aside from Corey Joseph, that bench is trash.
So
that- it's still-
Serge
it-
starts. Who goes to the bench?
Patrick Patterson.
Patrick
Or do
Patterson
you
hard
bring
to.
Serge off the bench?
No, Serge.
Who are they starting now?
They start yesterday. They started. I don't know his name. It begins with, last name begins with a P, and his first name's Jacob. I don't know how to say it. It's
How
a
do you
European
how do
player.
you trade your best bench player? But no, second best.
I mean, it works out for them because they traded their best bench player for a starter. But I just
Ibaka?
Ibaka's a starter.
Yeah, that was exactly where I was going with the fact that
Yeah.
I don't know if like it makes sense. Like part of me thinks it makes sense because it's like that's a good matchup for Tristan Thompson. Like you got somebody that's protecting the rim in case Valanciunas goes down like he did last year. But when it comes to the whole like I don't know if that gives them the scoring. Well, not the scoring, but just I don't know if that helps the team.
It all depends on the Ibaka they get. If they get the
That's
low
true.
post Ibaka, I mean, it gives them a good high-low action with Valanciunas down low and Ibaka because he can shoot the mid-range jump shot. So it gives them that. And they're both decent rim protectors
There was
to
the.
clog up the plate with LeBron.
Was it a first or a second round pick?
For Ibaka?
Yeah.
I believe it was a first.
Okay.
it
Wasn't
was
it
a-
such a high pick though? It's almost like.
It's a late first round.
Yeah. How often do you really score in a late first rounder these days for a real difference maker coming out of college these days?
And the problem
Jimmy
with
Butler picked number 30.
Yeah, and then you had Isaiah Thomas who was late in the second round. Wasn't he like the last?
He was
pick?
the dead last
Yeah.
pick in the draft.
I mean,
well, that's because he
there's
was
chances.
5'8". I think the skill was being 5'8" and being the last pick in the draft. I think that the skill was there. I think that people just didn't want to pick him up because he was 5'8".
Yeah.
Well, he's balling now. So
He is.
we will see how it plays out for those teams that made trades, and we'll see if any other teams make big trades. And when we come
Doubt
back
it.
on Top Shelf Ankle Breakers, we're going to talk NBA All-Star Weekend that begins actually tomorrow, I think, with a celebrity game, and then they got the Rising Stars game.
No one
Friday,
don't
that's on
cares
Friday
about
Friday
the All-Star.
night,
I mean,
yeah.
the celebrity game.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rachel Lemida's in it.
Hey, Brendan Armstrong's in it. You know
You
Brendan
said
Armstrong?
two people.
Bring back Kevin Hart.
Rachel Lemida's the chick from NBA 2K TV.
She's
All right,
only
Top
in it
Shelf Ankle
because
Breakers.
she's,
We'll be right back.
she's only in it because she's from 2K.
Welcome back to Top Shelf Ankle Breakers. All right, now we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star Weekend coming up and make our picks for NBA All-Star Saturday night, most notably. So let's start with the dunk contest. Competing in the dunk contest this year is the should-have-been champion, in my opinion, Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic, DeAndre Jordan from the Los Angeles Clippers, Glenn Robinson III from the Indiana Pacers, and then my favorite one is Derek Jones Jr., 11 minutes of Phoenix Suns, right?
I believe so.
Phoenix
something like
Suns, the guy's got bounce, but we'll see if he has bounce in the dunk contest. So, given these participants,
Hope he missed both his first.
who is going to win the dunk contest?
This is Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones Jr.
He's
You
like
seen the highlights?
he's the Jamario Moon of this year's dunk contest. Are you kidding me?
that. I haven't heard Jamario Moon's name.
Mario Moon. Man.
Jamario Moon. Where's he at?
Am I wrong?
Oh,
Is he in
wow.
the G League? I hope he's in the G
He
League.
might be playing 2K against us.
He's on the couch.
I'm
Talk
hoping.
about 2K TV. There you go.
I'm hoping that we get something rivaling last year with DeAndre and Aaron Gordon.
DeAndre's too big for that.
DeAndre can't do it.
Not
But
Deion-
Dwight Howard had a phenomenal dunk contest the year he did. I'm hoping
Off
something
of
along the lines.
creativity.
But I'm hoping something along the lines of that. We don't know what
Yeah,
DeAndre can and
Blake
can't do in a
doesn't
dunk
pass on the
contest.
ball.
The easy choice is Aaron Gordon because we know what he can do, but the question is he out of ideas? But I'm going to pick Aaron Gordon because he had like 9 great dunks. The second best dunk he did in the entire night was the last one that got him a 45. So if that's a 45, I can't wait to see what else he pulls out for
And
a
that was
50.
on top of his head at that. Like he didn't know. Like he didn't plan that dunk at all.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I don't like. Sure that one looked better in slow motion, but damn, that was a nice dunk.
All right, who we got, Mateo? Any surprises, or are we going Aaron Gordon?
I'm rocking with the 11 minutes Derek Jones Jr. I'm gonna rock with him, man. I've seen a couple of his Dunkaholic mixtapes. I've seen some of his stuff. And
Gerald Green of the current NBA.
he has bounce. He has some serious bounce.
Disrespectful.
And at the end of the day, I feel like the biggest one of the factors I'm gonna just throw out there is the man doesn't play, so he has all the time in the world to think of stuff, man. I mean, right?
Price
He
of dunks.
can be sitting there on the bench like, what am I doing a dunk contest? Not paying at all attention to the game because he knows he's not gonna get in. So I'm rocking with him. I like what he can do.
Interesting pick.
Got some
Russ.
bunnies on him.
anytime someone who's played in the league for 11 minutes and not even consecutively, just total, is in the dunk contest, you better win. Off the simple fact that you have no other purpose to be in the dunk contest but to win.
To be
you
in the
have
NBA.
and to be on that stage. That's prime time. That's highlights. The lights get low. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Smith. All that is going to be for you, and you have to produce because there is no other reason for you to be there. I want Eric. Part of me wants Aaron Gordon to win just because he's an NBA player and I think he might be the best NBA dunker. But since this guy is in here and the NBA wants to have fun, like there's no minutes restriction on how many minutes you got to play to make it to the All-Star weekend. Like, come on. But since you're going to be there, bro, show out, please, because you have no other purpose but to being there.
So no love for DJ or Glenn Robinson out of Indiana. He's got some bounce. I mean,
Glenn Robinson is cold. I like.
Good
I like
option.
him.
Yeah,
But
and
I've
I
seen
just
him
think
in-
DJ's too.
I like him in
I just
Michigan.
think DJ's too big, too long, too lanky to be in.
that might be my
saw
sleeper
what
pick.
happened
With
with
Glenn
Art.
Robinson. That might be my sleeper pick for the dunk contest. You know, he's athletic, one of the better young players in the league, I think.
Can we
see.
start a petition right now that if Blake Griffin passes DeAndre Jordan the ball in the part where you gotta like use a teammate, like he gets disqualified or something?
I don't think
Like,
you ever have to use it.
No,
They revamped those rules
But
last
you gotta
year.
use. But don't you gotta use like a
you gotta
player?
use-
Like
yeah,
you
you
gotta
have to use
use
a
somebody.
teammate.
Gotta throw you that lob. And if it's anyone other than Chris Paul, he should be eliminated off GP. Of general principle, he should be eliminated because you have the best passer, one of the best passers. in the
Amari
league.
had freaking Steve Nash throwing him passes.
Off
No,
his
actually,
freaking
he
head.
kicked it.
Yeah, and then he headed
kicked
it.
it
All right,
and
all right.
he headed it. He
How's it
did
going?
not pass the ball with his feet at all. I mean, with his hands at all.
That's a good one.
That was dirty.
All right, so that's our dunk contest predictions. Let's shift behind the arc to our Taco Bell 3-point contest predictions. So, competing in that contest, we have the reigning champion Klay Thompson. His teammate in Golden State, Steph Curry, will not be there. Joining Klay Thompson
We
is
want
Toronto.
Steph. We want Steph.
I want Seth. I don't want Steph.
Yes,
I want both Curry
Dallas.
and Dell. Throw Dell in there too.
We seen what you did in that game. What, you saw that? You saw
Yeah.
that shot? Yeah.
Steph threw the ball and just pull up from half and nail it.
So the players that will try to contend Klay Thompson for the title is Toronto Raptors point guard Kyle Lowry, Kyrie Irving of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kemba Walker of the Charlotte Hornets, Nick Swaggy P. Young from the Lakers.
I'm rocking with Swaggy feet. Play some Iggy Azalea while he's doing it. I'll guarantee the man drop.
Wes Matthews of the Dallas Mavericks, C.J. McCollum, one of the better young players in the league from the Portland Trailblazers, and Eric Gordon from the Houston Rockets, getting passes from James Harden. So from that list, guys, is there anybody that can contend with Klay Thompson in the 3-point contest? Who is going to win it?
I'm gonna go on a limb and say Kemba. He's not the popular pick, but if Jason Capono can win the 3-point contest,
shoot
Capono was cold.
I know,
He was a
I know.
three-point session.
So can Kemba. If Kemba gets hot, he
Okay,
can shoot.
but-
Yeah, with a step back. There ain't no step
No, no,
backs
no,
in
no,
the
no.
Who said you can't step back in the 3-point
no.
contest?
Capono was a
You could probably
3-point
cross
specialist.
over and behind the back. And
Capono's only purpose of being in the NBA was to shoot the ball. Kemba Walker's much. Okay, but continue. Go ahead. I'm just
saying Kemba Walker.
I'm going with. Part of me really thinks that Wesley Matthews could play. I'm trying to stay away from Klay, so I think that Wesley Matthews might surprise us, just because you know what I'm saying. That's his standstill shot is literally what the 3-point shooting is. Like, I think it caters to his shot. So since it caters to his shot, I think that he'll probably pull out the W if it's not Klay Thompson. But no one was like, come on, man, that's like playing with the Warriors. Actually, it is the Warriors.
Wesley Matthews done it before and he did horrible the one time he did it. So
I'm
He
not
did.
buying that.
He did
Isn't
a-
Thompson's third year too? I thought Thompson did terrible his first year.
no, I don't think so. I don't think it's Thompson's only. I think it's only his second. This would be
How come Seth couldn't play or Steph?
They said no.
Well,
I guarantee you they invited Steph. He said no.
yeah. I'm a rock with. I mean, I don't think anyone's beating Klay. I think Klay's gonna win again, but. I took Derrick Jones Jr., so I might as well take Swaggy P. I'm taking Swaggy P.
Swaggy
I'm gonna go with all the underdogs. I'm taking Swaggy P.
Derrick Jones Jr. better not be no underdog if you only been playing.
No one knows the man is. He's
Let's
an
not
underdog.
get
You're
on this
automatically an
again.
underdog if you don't even know who
Well,
the hell
it's
he
no mistake that obviously all these players, I guess, can shoot 3-pointers. I mean, Wes Matthews and Eric Gordon. I'm not sure
Can
about
the
those two being in the dunk
NBA
contest,
needs
or
to do
the
something
3-point
about getting the
contest.
all-stars to do this stuff. Like,
Well,
we
I
need
mean,
the all-stars doing
They
it.
Kyrie's an
haven't-
all-star.
yeah.
Lowry's an all-star.
NBA cares too much
Kemba's an
about about players' brands in order for them to
Yeah,
like.
but, I mean,
like
The best players are in the skills competition these last couple of years, not the dunk contest or the 3-point. It's always been the skills competition where the best players truly seem to want to do it.
yeah,
Before
because it
these
ain't no real effort brought into that. They ain't nothing but passing the ball. Half of them don't do that no way, so they figure they can do it there.
I mean, 4 of these 8 people in the 3-point contest are in the All-Star game on Sundays.
well, we need 8 of them. All 8 of them to be all-stars next year.
There's only
Well,
24
Eric Gordon is not
All-Stars.
making the All-Star
Yeah.
team anytime
So
soon.
Eric Gordon should be doing the 3-point contest.
That's the real reason why they traded Serge. You got Diombo and you got Aaron Gordon. I mean, why did they even? Oh, who cares? No,
All right, skills competition, right?
I don't have the skills competition.
Oh,
but,
sweet.
who's going to win the skills competition, guys?
Chris Paul, is he in it?
Yeah, because he's hurt, right?
No, I don't know.
That if it's not Chris Paul, it's Kyrie Irving. That's the two.
It's the big guys and the little guys. I don't know who's doing
I
it.
forgot who I said on the chart.
All I know is Karl Anthony Towns won it last year, and I was absolutely thrilled.
What's
Finally,
his name?
the big man.
Nikola Jokic is replacing Joel Embiid.
Nico Jokic is in it. He's going to win.
I'm rocking with him, man.
I'm rocking with Nico Jokic.
I like his style. I like everything about that kid.
He's cold.
I like him. But,
so-
what's going on? No, I'm good.
No, I was just saying.
Great.
So moving on from our All-Star talk, we'll see how that plays out this weekend. But moving on, we got a
Wait.
topic
East
that
to
was-
west. East to west. East to west.
Oh, we can do that.
West.
East or West?
Was that even a question?
East to west.
It's West.
So LeBron or the West?
Is Steve Kerr?
LeBron and
Real
Melo,
quick.
The 2003 draft class for the West.
Is the 2000 Carmelo's replacing Kevin Love, by the way. So you kind of have
Yeah,
that.
did I talk
but,
about that? Yeah.
That's horrible.
He's the biggest name. It's the All-Star game. Who cares?
Real quick, is Steve Kerr savage enough to throw Russell Westbrook with the
Yes!
Warriors?
I said that on the triangle. Abso-freaking-lutely. He better
Okay,
do that.
I hope he does, but does Westbrook do it? I don't feel like Westbrook gonna do it. I feel like Westbrook will be like, hell no, I'm not doing this.
Bro,
Throwing James
It's
Harden.
an All-Star game. He ain't
Okay,
gonna
but
get it.
Westbrook has too much pride. I don't feel
No,
like
no
Westbrook
one has
at
pride in
point-
the All-Star game.
I had the best, like on the triangle, which is Davis podcast, Top Shelf Sports Triangle. Check us out. I made a
Shameless plug.
prediction. Who cares? I made a prediction that they're gonna put in the 4-1, and then everyone from the Warriors is gonna stay at the baseline and just let Russ do what he's gonna do. So just let him go 1-on-5 since that's what he does every night.
So send out a lineup of Westbrook, Curry, Thompson, Durant, and Draymond Green. We'll see how that plays out. The
Yeah,
All-Star
I
game.
He better do it,
I
man.
bet
It's
none
gonna
of
be
them
fun.
touch the ball other than Russ.
We're all picking the West to win, though, right?
Or they all avoid Russell Westbrook. But
That's true too. But yeah, let them just sit Indian style at half court.
Will it be a fun game?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the All-Star game's always fun.
No,
First
I
half.
always think it's gonna be fun, and then by the second quarter, I'm like, oh, there's another lob that was uncontested. Yay!
No
Yeah.
defense at
No
all.
the game
If
is
it's
gonna
close
be
at
so
the end,
fun.
then-
Remember the most exciting part of last year's was the fact that LeBron defended Kobe Bryant for a play.
And Drake stood there and clapped and messed up the photo op. Let's not forget that part.
This
Too.
is true.
But yeah,
I think it'll be a fun game.
hopefully.
It's not like the NHL All-Star game. That's the best one.
All right. Well, that wraps up our
It's
All-Star
definitely
talk.
not the Pro Bowl.
It's better than the Pro Bowl.
And lately this morning, we were having a heated discussion and decided to bring it into Top Shelf Ankle Breakers regarding, is the NBA washed up? Do you think too many young players are coming into the league too early? Should the college rules be changed? What do you guys think about that?
At least we have the college rules. I mean, we're not getting any more Sebastian Telfairs coming out of high school.
That's disrespectful to
Sebastian
Sebastian
Telfair.
Telfair.
He was supposed to take
If
over
he-
the world with LeBron.
If he
Remember
would
that?
have went to college instead of straight to the NBA, he would have been something special.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone-
At least we have this as a basis. I think most of us can agree that for every Garnett and Kobe you got like 5 bums that never played more than 5 minutes.
Kwame Brown, my man, you probably somewhere doing a podcast yourself. Man, you have to suck.
Make a
So how about
layup.
the 1 year in college, guys? I mean, is that too many? Should they be able to come right out of high school, or should they add a couple more years of that? Or
I
what do
think
you
the NFL has it perfect. I think that you should at least be in college for 2 years. Your third year, you can come out if you really want to. But I think that as far as the just talent development in the NBA is horrible, to the point where the D League has now become the G League, and the G League could be the G League if it wants to be, and the NBA could send down, like, you know what I'm saying, just some straggler teams like who could be in the D League right now. The Kings, the Knicks, like all them. The Knicks won't go just because they're in New York. But if the Knicks was any other state, it was in any other state, they would be in the D League. The Nets can go in the D League. Truth be told, if you Russ and the Thunder could be in the D League, just move Russ to another team, a better team, which he deserves.
So you think
But,
they should actually relegate teams to the D League like they do in the Premier League?
I mean, I don't think they should do that, but it could. You tell me this: the Sixers versus let's say the Kings. No one really wants to see that unless you want to see DeMarcus Cousins, right? Like, no one cares for that game
And
at
Embiid.
all. And Embiid, yeah.
I'm not
Cousins and
disagreeing
Embiid.
with that, but I mean,
Like, no one cares. Who's watching that game?
Well, no, but no one watches AAA baseball either. But that's the breeding ground for the MLB. What I would suggest is, because we're talking about the college rules. If you make it 3 years, there's gonna be more Brandon Jennings are gonna go start playing in Greece or Europe or whatever. So I don't really think that's gonna make too much of a difference. I think they should up the amount of picks in the draft and have like the third round on down. You're like a non-roster invitee where you're likely gonna be on the D League. Add a couple more rounds. Those players go to the D League where they can develop or develop if it's the G League.
Gatorade is what that stands for.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
That's
It
what
does.
it stands for.
They bought it. They
It
partnered
does.
with
It does. But I refuse. I
Oh,
refuse.
But Govvelop makes more sense though, right?
It's a G. But if they treat it actually like a farm system as opposed to a you can't play, we'll throw you here. Like, I mean, someone drafted in their first season and a half, they'll play in the G League, and then they'll actually be brought up when they're ready.
The NBA tried that with the summer league and it didn't work. It doesn't work. The summer league,
the
Summer League is something completely different.
The summer
The
league
sum-
is like what, 6-8 weeks?
right? But that's
I'm
what the
talking about a
NBA
full season and a half, full 2 seasons like they do in baseball. Some baseball players drafted in the first round take 3 years in the minors before
Chris
they see
Bryant
it.
was in AAA before he even came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, and that would work. But the thing about that is you can't restrict that to the third and fourth round of the imaginary.
No,
draft.
that's not. I'm not saying that's like a hard rule, but like add rounds to the draft, and those players that get drafted. If
Oh,
if
he's
they
trying
don't
to
make
do
the
that.
team, send them to the D League.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I don't know how to the extent, but I know Silva, who's doing an okay job. But I see the G League was a horrible decision, sir. But he said that he wants to add a third round to the draft. I don't know if that's really going to work or not. Truth be told, there shouldn't be a second round in this draft because like the NBA after the lottery pick, there's no talent.
That's after the first round. You know, what I mean,
The first,
No,
the
you
first
find
round.
it- you find
tell
talent.
me at the 22nd pick what are you getting there?
Taj Gibson
Was-
was the
was-
22nd pick.
Jimmy Butler. was
Taj
30.
Gibson and Jimmy Butler. That was before the one and done. Well, not before the
No.
one and done rule.
Before the-
not before the one and done rule, but that was like before players started just coming in and just
And
leaving.
that's also
it's
also an anomaly. That's you don't expect to get a Taj or you expect to get a Taj. You don't expect to get a Jimmy Butler in the 30th pick. You just kind of
don't
reach for
expect to
something
get
and you get
Isaiah
him.
Thomas either.
I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, like look at last year,
I was a late
Carl
pick, too.
Anthony Towns was the number one pick, and he came out of 1 year, and the man was damn near an all-star last year. I don't have a problem with it.
The number
Hey,
one pick is
there's no-
not the rest of the draft.
There's no
understand,
exceptions.
I understand that, but look at Denzel Valentine this year. He was a great college player, and he's just not in the right situation right now.
Truth be told.
Like I feel like a lot of that has to be: are you in the right situation? Are you in the right place? Are you on the right team? If you're not on the right team, then it's not gonna.
That comes to management. You got to draft the players that fit your system, and if you're not drafting players that fit your system, then that's on you. That's just you being piss poor management.
Exactly. So what does that have to do with the player? The
That
player
has-
may be NBA ready, and he's not in the right spot.
Name me an NBA player name me an NBA ready player that got drafted this year that is not in the right spot. Name me a couple.
Like,
people.
how can
I don't
you
I
know
don't
though?
know.
if you're
Exactly.
not-
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking the question because I
Okay,
don't know.
well, because
Name me an
when
NBA
Denzel
ready
Valentine
player.
was drafted, he was supposedly NBA ready because he stayed at Michigan State for 3 years, and now he's not in
I
the
thought
right
he was
spot.
there- I thought he was there for 4 years. And he's
3-4 years,
just
whatever it
because
is. Okay, well, he didn't do the one and done rule, and he's not in the right
But
position.
he's
right
also
now.
just not playing.
My point exactly. He's not in the right position.
And once again, I think.
So if you throw Denzel Valentine on another team, he may be balling out. We just don't know it.
But if you also treat the developmental league like a developmental league and actually give him consistent time against players on his talent level or slightly higher, slightly lower, like I think it would be good. You know, Nate Robinson going to the D League, I think is great for the D League. It gives them a veteran person who's been. I'm calling it the D League. It gives them a veteran player who has been on the highest levels of the NBA. A chance to really mold these young kids, like ideally Dwayne Wade would have, but that's what they need. They need like veteran players, bring in like
Jamario Moon.
Jamario Moon.
Sorry, that name just
It's
right.
tough to
Josh
thi-
Childress.
Josh Childress,
Mike
Josh
Moore.
Smith,
Josh
players
Smith.
like that. No, players like that who aren't
See,
going
but
to get
those
an NBA spot. They can play in the D
The
League.
problem with
No,
that is
okay.
NBA players have worse egos than any other because they make the most money than
Yeah, there's
anyone
only
else
12
other than
spots on the
baseball.
roster, yeah.
And they have the worst egos. That's the
Those
problem
guys aren't
with
gonna.
NBA
That's the
right
thing.
now.
Those guys aren't gonna do that. Josh Smith knows he can go to China, or Turkey, or wherever else in Europe or
Yeah.
anywhere else around the world and get paid. So why am I gonna go to the D League and get?
Well, then the
That's
NBA
the
would have to
problem.
offer
No
up
one
the
wants
money.
to develop their talent because it's too much money being offered in basketball. Like, if we be honest here, Like there's like every other sport, like there's not this much money outside of baseball that's being tossed around so freely. Enes Kanter is not worth $72 million.
No, no one in this world for any sport is worth $72 million.
Over
That's a
4
different
years,
topic.
$72 million. Enes Kanter,
But-
bro.
but-
Come on, man.
the
You
very-
robbed
okay, but
Noah.
one
you,
second,
You
one
were Derrick Rose
second.
+1, bro. Like, come on.
Derrick Rose is +1. I love that. But anyway, the initial question was, is the NBA washed up? I don't feel like the NBA is washed up at all. I feel like the NBA has a lot of talent, and there's just a lot of bad teams, and that's just because you have.
Talent
The
development
the
is
washed up
problem,
may not
but
be the
people
wa-
don't want to. Talent development is the problem. The problem with talent development is it's too much money out here to be made for you to develop your talent when you can get paid.
So
and
it's-
since that's the problem, the league will never get better.
Is washed up the wrong word? Should we be saying watered down?
Yeah.
Well, if you say watered, well, yeah, that works because
Let-
watered
let-
down includes everything like the no handshake rule.
Let's think about this. Let's
Granted,
take
they
out
stopped
let's
fighting,
let's
but-
take 4 teams out of the NBA. That's 48, 50 some odd roster spots of players that probably aren't worth it. Do you think the NBA would get better if we take off like those lower level players and just have less teams of higher quality altogether?
This hypothetical situation doesn't matter because there's too much money to be made. To
It'll
cut out
it'll
teams.
never happen. But once again, it is hypothetical. Do you think the NBA would be more fun to watch if there was less teams of higher quality all across the board?
Absolutely, because you wouldn't have people like. Why is what's Sasha? Did you know Sasha Vucic is still in the
playing,
NBA?
yeah.
Yeah,
Lakers, right, or Knicks?
I think it's the Nets, not even the Knicks.
The Nets are a story in and of themselves
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
now.
shout out to
should be the
Brooke
G
Lopez.
League.
I heard you trying to get moved, man. Good luck.
You've been wasting your talents for a long time.
Yeah, man.
But,
Well, a lot of people have. I mean, Kenneth Faried's been in Denver way too long. Granted, they're winning now, and I'm proud that he's finally getting his recognition. But
I'm surprised he
I mean,
never got
Kenneth-
moved.
Yeah.
They wanted to move him. I'm just
Side
surprised it
note:
never
Anthony,
happened.
Anthony Davis said he's not leaving. Granted, I don't know where you're going in a 5-year contract, but
Well, also with the new CBA, it's going to benefit him to stay. He's going to get a lot more money to stay, and since the entire thing's about money, he's going to get a lot more. And that'll be good for the NBA. Stars who stay with where they are.
money doesn't
consistently.
solve problems about stuff that doesn't have anything to do with money. The problem is not money. Everyone gets paid in the NBA. Whoop de freaking do. These people out here are not getting better. Do you realize the only people that have gotten noticeably better in the NBA are Isaiah Thomas and DeMar DeRozan
Giannis.
and Giannis?
It's like Cousins has developed his game a little bit further
Well,
out.
Cousins,
Players have developed-
Cousins is always good though. So
But
that's like
he's
an
also
anomaly.
he's yeah. But I
Like,
mean,
he's always been good. So him
but
adding something to
great
so him
NBA
adding him.
okay,
his
but
game-
great NBA talents are always an anomaly.
But does that? I mean, because what are we comparing these guys to? We look at the top of the league, like the Warriors, who have 4 All-Stars. I mean, of course, teams aren't gonna look at. It doesn't mean these guys aren't developing.
I don't
think
They're
the-
just not
I
freaking
don't want you to-
superstars.
I
don't
think
want
the
you to-
issue is
Go ahead.
other sports seem to have more stars across the board than
Balance.
the NBA does, more balance. But that's also because of nature of position. I mean, it's easier to find heavy hitting sluggers in the NBA and the MLB, and it's easier to find a solid linebacker here and a good corner here and a good nose tackle here, as it is to find there's only 5 positions in the NBA and only
No
so
one
many
gets
people are
max
6'11".
No one gets. I don't think many people get max contracts in other sports either.
Well, baseball they do.
Well,
Like,
baseball,
okay,
baseball
mass-
introduced the
baseball
luxury
doesn't
tax.
have- right, there's
No, but they
no
got the
salary
luxury
cap.
tax though, so that's actually changing things up a little bit now.
The
but
salary
still.
cap. I thought there was no salary.
There's
cap.
no salary cap, but there's a luxury tax. That way, if you meet a certain part of luxury tax, you will owe the salary twice over.
Oh, okay. Well,
So that's
listen,
really starting to limit teams.
Well, my point is, my overall point is that the fact that the talent needs to be better, and you don't get talent when you're paying average people. Well, not average because they're all in the NBA, so I'm calling them average relative to the
Yeah.
people around them. Is when you're paying average people big time money. Because if we're us, right, we're on a podcast at Northern. If they were paying us $72 million over 4 years, we wouldn't
I
get
would
better
not-
either.
I would never graduate. I would just stay here.
We wouldn't get better either.
but
You don't get better when you do stuff like that.
But once again, there's only so many people in this world that have an NBA body. That really limits the pool you can pull from. How many 6'6", 240-pound people walk around this earth that are athletic and like
I don't want
aren't
you
gonna
to-
break down?
That's what he was saying. I don't want you to be LeBron. I
asking
don't
you to be
I don't
LeBron.
want you to be the Warriors. I just want you to be I want you to be like a Boston Celtics team where you're competitive, where you're good enough to beat every team, but you're also okay enough to where you can lose to pretty much any team too. Like, I want you to be that. I want you to be good enough to compete and win against any other team out there, but at the same time, you're not the best team either.
I'm getting the feeling we're starting to argue different points. That's where it's.
I feel like my point was just I feel like you look at the rest of the teams around the league and look at the guys and you compare them to the best in the league, the Warriors, the Cavs, who have all-star, superstar players, and you look at them. Okay, the Nuggets. Oh, I can't say the Nuggets because the Nuggets beat the Warriors today. But like Sacramento, you look at them; those guys aren't not NBA players. They're good players. It's when they play against the Warriors, they look horrible because
they beat the Warriors though.
Oh, okay, they're another team that beats the Warriors. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I can't. The Knicks. Use the Knicks for example. They look horrible. These lower level teams look horrible against the upper echelon teams. That doesn't mean these guys aren't talented.
The talent gap.
They're just not as talented. Doesn't mean they're not talented.
The talent gap in the NBA from superstar to role player is bigger than I think any other sport right now. Than it is in baseball, than it is
That's
football.
my overall problem. Good job.
But can you blame players for not having the natural talent, size, and athletic ability, though?
I can blame them for not having the drive. People don't, like, truth be told, Westbrook won't have another talented player on his team for who knows how long. It's going to be an extremely long time before he has anyone talented on his team. But he pushes his players. Granted, they bounce back just because society, like, people are just soft now, I guess, in the NBA, just soft now when it comes to certain people. Like, I think what's his name? Adams.
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams. I like Steven Adams. I like Victor Oladipo. But other than that, and those people aren't even like developing as fast as they should. But other than that, Russ Westbrook holds every one of them accountable. And that's the best thing that you can do. But no one else really does that. You figure, look at what Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade does versus what Russell Westbrook does. Russell Westbrook calls you out on the court. Draymond Green calls you out on the court. Kevin Durant argues. I know they're the best teams, but like I know they're the best players, but like Kevin Durant argues with Draymond Green on the court about getting better. No one else in the league does that, and that's the problem. The will to compete and the will to compete is not there anymore.
And I think that in the current state of the NBA, just general fundamentals are lacking more than ever.
That's why you have to play with the Spurs.
I mean, it all begins with talent. It all begins with talent development. Like, I think of, like, and a good example for me is Brandon Ingram. The dude weighs like 60 pounds.
I hope he becomes.
You know what I mean?
good.
He weighs 60 pounds.
He's not
like,
right now.
If you're Brandon Ingram and you're, a
can get wherever he wants
19-year-old, 19, right?
Yeah.
Being thrown
19, 20, yeah.
being thrown a rookie deal of $3 million or 3 years with a play option in the fourth, like $14, $15 million.
It'll be a team option.
Do you, even if you're not ready and you're being offered that kind of money, do you sign
can't
that
turn
or do
it
you go
down,
buy your
yeah.
textbooks for next semester? You know what I mean? It's just, and
can't
what do you
turn
do if
that
you're
down.
Brandon Ingram? This is the problem with the NBA. It's like, obviously he's going to come into the league and he's not ready.
Another thing I've seen thrown out with the issue with the NBA is AAU. A lot of people think that AAU is trying to mold the player into the. They're trying to mold every guy into the same exact player. The reason that we don't have traditional centers and forwards are because they're raising them to be guards and they happen to be 7'2".
That's not true at all. I played AAU basketball in high school, so I can talk about that a little bit. That
AAU basketball,
that is
passion, the system, everything about it. Go ahead.
I don't feel there's anything wrong with AAU basketball. It gives kids the opportunity to play, and you want to talk about talent development. That's where you develop talent right there.
That's the problem, though. That's where it stops.
Where is it then? Yeah.
No one else, like, after you make it to college and then you go on, then you make it to the league, if you're lucky enough, you it's like they give up on their talent. They just say, all right, well, I'm good enough to be with these guys. Or, like, I'm good enough to make it, so that's all that matters. Like, that's the problem. Like, just because you're top in ESPN use top 100, that doesn't mean that's where it stops for you. Like, it seems like people are just okay with okay, I'm recognized, that's good enough. Like, no,
I can agree with that. I think Andrew Wiggins is a perfect example of that.
Wait, what about it?
No,
Explain
no, because look at Andrew Wiggins.
It's not his fault he can't grow, by the way.
I'm not saying that, but one stigma about Andrew Wiggins is that there's a lot of games where he looks like he's disinterested or not wanting to be the player that he's capable of being.
Didn't he admit that recently?
He didn't. So what he said was he averages the most points against the Cavaliers, who are defending champs, against LeBron James. And the reason being he plays with a chip on his shoulder because they were the team that drafted him and then traded him for Kevin Love. And so he's a perfect example of that, where when I play with a chip on my shoulder, I can ball out. And the other day he dropped 41 against Cleveland. But every other team in the league, I don't have that chip on my
Carl
shoulder.
Anthony Towns is the one that has to drop to 41 because he acts like he does. Because Andrew Wiggins acts like he don't know what he's doing out there.
But when Andrew Wiggins wants to play,
But that's what I.
He
that's-
can- he
but
can-
that goes back to my argument of the will.
that's why I'm going. That's why I'm agreeing with you. Andrew Wiggins is an
Like,
example of
the
that.
will to compete is just gone in the NBA. Like Isaiah Thomas has the will to compete because he has no other choice. He's 5'8" in the NBA, and in
chip
the
on his
fourth,
shoulder.
Yeah.
right, and in the fourth quarter he goes bananas.
So it's about. So I don't feel like it's not about the talent. It's about the
No,
player and his.
it's also about the
I
talent.
mean, it's slightly about it's about the talent, but it's also about does the player have the chip on his shoulder to compete, which is what Ross was saying.
But then,
Doug
some players, no
McDermott.
matter how big your chip is, you're just not good enough.
Doug McDermott had the confidence to tweet out, "I have a chance to win the scoring title, scoring 91 points his senior year in college." Doug McDermott would never even joke about that now. Because there's no way Doug McDermott is even putting up 20 points on most nights. And that's the problem. You had that confidence and swagger in college, but now that you're amongst the big boys, you can only average, 8 points?
I believe it's 9. Yeah.
9 points? Come on, man. What are you doing? Like, what is that? That's the problem. That will to compete is gone.
Well, we'll see how the next year's draft plays out if we have any
Not enough big men.
truly
Not enough
talented
big men.
players coming into the draft.
MJ
A
needs more
bunch
big
of
men.
guards is about to come out this draft. Malik Monk's good. I like the kid Mason from Frank
Yeah,
Mason.
yeah.
I like De'Aaron Fox. I saw this man. Did y'all see that game, the Kentucky game last night by chance? He put his hair in a ponytail. It was funny. It's funny to look at, but he's a good player though. Shout out to him. It's a couple good
He's
kids.
listening.
Ball, yeah, right.
Ball, yeah.
Ball is good, but yeah, you know, it's a nice guard. It's guard heavy
I
draft.
feel like that's every year now. It's the guard.
Yeah, because everyone is an AAU player now, and what do
I mean, but
AAU?
We don't have traditional forwards and
That's
centers.
also
Bam is the
that's
only big-
also about size. Okay, if the man is 6'3", he cannot play center in the NBA.
Bam is the only big man that I've seen, and it might be some more that I'm leaving out. But Bam from Kentucky,
Oh,
it looks
God.
like Dwight
Bam's not
Howard.
that good.
What?
I don't know.
But it's
NBA
not,
ready.
it's not even completely
I didn't
about
say he was
size.
NBA ready. I didn't say he was NBA
No,
ready.
I meant it more like that. Like,
Oh no. He. But you know
He's good
what?
now.
Well, what is he gonna do?
So was Doug in college.
What
You know?
is Bam gonna do? He about to leave because why? Because he can. What
he
is,
can, yeah.
And then what he's about to do? Make some money, turn into Kwame Brown. Hopefully not, but that's what his career is going.
That's the same thing. Like look at Derrick Rose, the man didn't take his ACTs and cheated his way through that 1 year in Memphis. Why? Because he knew he was in school just to go to the league. He wasn't. I'm not coming out of here with a degree, so I'm gonna waste my time. You know, like, that's the same thing that these guys are doing. I'm here
Let me show you
because
how-
I'm supposed to be here, and after this 1 year, I'm going to the league to make my money.
let
It's
me
just
show
a
you.
waste of time to go for 1 year. I mean,
That's
You
why
don't even learn anything, bro.
That's
There's
why I
no way you
hate.
can
That is
develop.
exactly why I hate the one and done rule, because these guys are going just to waste their time. When
They're
you
not
can
even
throw them in the league.
developing their games, bro. That's the problem.
You can't go back
class,
to.
Swahili language, you know?
But then
man,
there's that.
something.
You can't go back to allowing high school kids.
Why
in.
not?
Why not?
No.
That'll be
That's
terrible
worse.
for the
That's
kids
worse.
and the league. Like once again, like we said earlier, how many kids come out of high school and just bomb out and they have nothing? They have absolutely
That's
nothing.
the
They
worst.
have one decent contract and they're done with the rest of their lives.
At least 2 years would give them.
But
I'm
once
sorry.
again, at
Okay,
that
and
point, then people are going to
and
start
then-
going overseas
okay,
instead
and
of going to college at all.
There you go.
they're still going back
There's
to the
hella
NBA.
alternatives. There's plenty of alternatives. But I feel like why not just let them go out of high school? Like you get, there's a lot of good players that came out of high school. I understand there's a lot that weren't good either.
For
Kwame
every
Brown,
one
Swiss
good
Carters.
player that came out of high school, there's 5 or 6 that failed.
Bro,
That's
that-
not a
that-
good
that
Okay, but
ratio was
if
horrible.
we're talking about right now, we're talking about is the NBA washed up and NBA talent wise. LeBron came out of high school, Kobe came out of high school, Dwight Howard came out of high school, Amari Stoudemire came out of high school. Those
There
are
are
all
no
those are
players
all
like
all-star
that.
players.
There are no players like any of them right now in college or in high school. None. There's no LeBron.
Okay, but-
there's no Kobe.
but they're
there's
not-
no KG.
they're not-
There-
KG's
there-
another example,
There's
but they're-
none
You
of that.
can't be
Those-
using these elite athletes as the exception to the general rule that an 18-year-old kid is not ready for the NBA.
So
As
at
far as-
19 he is.
No, I don't
That's
think
the
he
point.
is.
No.
That's that 1 year rule. The 1 year makes them 19, and then they think that they're ready.
So is a what? A 2-year rule, a 3-year rule? So they're 2021. They're still not ready.
Bro, I would much rather have you stay 2 years and then your third year you can leave, just like they do in the
So we have a
NFL.
Den- so
You
you,
do
so you get
so-
so you
no.
get a Denzel Valentine.
You do
Because Denzel
not-
Valentine is that, isn't he not? He's
Yeah,
21
if
years
D'Angelo
old.
Russell
He stayed the
was-
3 years, And look at Denzel Valentine.
You do not understand the difference in maturity that truly happens from 18 to 21 and 22. There is actually a complete, huge, large gap in maturity.
I haven't noticed that.
In 2 years, you will notice the exact same thing, Mateo. You will notice. You will look back to 19-year-olds and go, God, if only they knew what I knew now.
Look at him now.
I was more mature when I was 18, I think.
I mean,
Like, come on, bro.
Your
A
brain is
teenager
fully-
should not be in the NBA.
And your brain
I'll
is
just
fully
leave it at
developed
that.
25. That's a medical fact. Your brain is fully developed 25. So no, they're not ready when they're 18, but at least they're closer when they're 22.
I don't even want you to be 22.
but
I just want you to be 20.
what we talking about for the talent level of the NBA? And I feel like being a 21-year-old doesn't make a difference when you're
Yeah, it
19 to
does.
21.
If you don't,
How?
if you don't
Look at Denzel Valentine
if
is
you
the
do-
prime example of that.
If you do not
He is
have,
21 years
if you
old
do not
and
have,
is not NBA
if
ready.
you do not have the maturity to dedicate yourself to the game day in and day out when you don't have a regimented schedule throughout your entire day, yes, it does matter. Because if an 18-year-old sees the parties, sees the clubs, sees the women, sees all these Northern contracts,
And also sees the NBA regimen,
but no,
the practices,
Bro,
and all that
Jaleel
comes with
NBA
it.
Jaleel Over got to a fight his first week outside of a club.
Okay.
when he
you
got
do not
drafted.
have an
Okay,
eye on you at
and-
all times in the NBA. You need to have that innate maturity to say, you know what, I'm not
you-
going to
you
this
can take
nightclub.
over this, Mom.
Some people just don't have it.
Okay,
but you need that.
and Michael Beasley was doing that at age 26. So what difference does that make?
Once again, using the exception to the rule that the maturity that you hit at 25, medically, your brain is more developed. The logic part of your brain is there. You don't have that when you're 18, and you don't have anyone guiding you.
I see
and guarding
plenty
you.
of NBA
Why are
players
you
doing.
sticking with 25? I understand.
I'm-
25
That's a medical
point,
fact that your
I
brain
see-
is fully developed.
I see
25.
plenty of NBA players at age 25, 26, 27 still doing the stupid things that kids do when they're 19.
They're
So I feel like
still
for the
gonna
talent
be-
level, it doesn't make a difference.
All right, fellas,
All right,
I'm
with
gonna
the
play
18
I'm gonna play my best Molly. We're gonna agree to disagree on this subject.
Damn right we disagree.
It will go on for the next hour if I don't do something. So
D'Angelo Russell.
I mean, I got
Can
nowhere
make a
to
last
be.
point? Can I make a last
No,
point?
we're not talking about D'Angelo
D'Angelo
Russell.
Russell does not post that thing on Snapchat with Nick Young if he stays in college longer.
all right, fair enough.
Yeah, he does. He
Fair
does.
enough. This conversation will have to continue on our next
Real,
episode.
D'Angelo Russell
Oh
does
my
do that.
God.
No, D'Angelo Russell does still do that because Swaggy P was cheating on another celebrity. He still does it. He still does it.
When top shelf ankle breakers.
He still does it. He still does it. I don't care how long you're in college. He still does it. Go
When
ahead.
Top Shelf Ankle Breakers returns, finally, we will go over. We will preview the Bulls game tomorrow against the Celtics. This is still a Bulls show. We talked about him a long time ago. We're going to go back to him.
Russell
And
Westbrook got
we
his
will-
27th triple-double, by the way.
And we will reveal
Congrats.
who broke the most ankles tonight when Top Shelf Ankle Breakers returns.